I think we're going to get started. So my name is Bob Benedon. I am a proud member of the JNF National Board, South Jersey Board, McCore, et cetera, et cetera. And today I have the great pleasure to be able to introduce our guest speaker. Pam and I got to know Lotem, Making Nature Accessible, many years ago when we first traveled to Yokneam and walked the nature trail with Paula Friedland. She was a powerhouse with a passion for the special needs community, having a son who had, due to an accident, joined that community. When she stepped down from her leadership role, she was replaced by Elisa Bodner, who we watched grow from a new Aleh, very wet behind the ears, to a seasoned proponent of the special needs community and truly a beloved JNF partner. When Elisa told us she was moving on, we were disappointed. How do you replace such a young, dynamic person? Enter Gailey Schiff, our JNF liaison for Lotem. Our first encounter, when Elisa first introduced us, she seemed a bit shy and quiet. However, did we get to know that we were so wrong when we thought this? It didn't take us long to realize that Lotem was in superb hands. Gailey gets it, lives it, and is able to communicate just what an all-inclusive Israeli society is all about. She is a passionate advocate who was inspired to pursue work in disability inclusion by being the mother of a child who struggled with disabilities early in life. Here's the part I didn't remember when Brandon sent me the intro today. She's a versatile professional who has a BA in political science and journalism and a master's degree in internal auditing. Gailey has extensive experience as a local newspaper editor, as well as an auditor of government authorities and private companies. And after a very successful career, she has dedicated her time and effort to empowering children and adults with special needs across Israel through educational activities in nature and the outdoors. Gailey is truly a woman of vision, advancing the mission of inclusion into Israel society for those with special needs. We're all in for a wonderful treat. She's an amazing person, and it's my pleasure to introduce my dear friend, Gailey Schiff.
Wow, thank you, Bob. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
A little bit exaggerating, but thank you. It's always nice. I really want to thank you, Bob, for being such a great advocate for Lotem, you and Pam, and also being personal friends of mine. I want to remind you that you and Pam were the first lay leaders that I met when I first came to JNF. So you were my first meeting, and it was a very good one, gave me good sense, good feeling to continue. And I want to thank everybody who joined this meeting today. I know that my friend Lynn Miriam is supposed to be here. I don't know if she got here already. And Cindy is here, and Ann Zinman is here. And I know that Marina told me she's going to be here as well. So thank you all for joining. I know that many of you have, especially in this area, have been supportive of Lotem for many years. And for those who haven't been in Lotem for a few years maybe, and for those who don't know Lotem, I'll just do a quick intro of what we do in Israel. So Lotem is the largest organization in Israel for any outdoor activities for people with special needs. It is an old organization, 27 years in a country of 70 years. It's quite a lot. So we're one of the most veteran organizations in the field, and it shows because we are expanding and we're big and we're very branched. We do a lot of things, and we do a lot of good work in Israel. And many of this is thanks to your support. So I want to thank you all again. Lotem is, to say it generally, Lotem is giving children and individuals with special needs an opportunity to be part of society. That's a big picture, and that's the bottom line. Everyone wants to be part of society, and everyone wants to be in connection. And I think that these days, with the social distance and everything that, being so alone and at home, people resonate to that more. And it was hard for everyone. And I think that for people with special needs, you have to understand that it's not a temporary time period for them like it was for us. This is a state where for many of them, this is their reality. The children get up in the morning, they go to school, children with special needs, but then they come home and they're alone. They can't leave, and they are not independent, and nothing around them is accessible. And when I say accessible, and I'm talking about public places, and I'm also talking about society, and the fact that society also has to be inclusive and accepting towards people with special needs for them to be involved and to feel good about it. And we're also talking about the accessibility of information. So if I want to talk about what Lotem is doing, I would divide it into two parts, because everything is very branched in what we do. So I'd say we have the educational site part, because Lotem is basically an educational organization. And what we do is we take the children from the special needs schools on school trips. We do it with the Ministry of Education. We take all the children of all special needs schools on school trips. Last year, give you the numbers from last year, because this year, not only the year is not over, but where the year is probably going to. But last year we took 43,000 children on school trips. When I first got to Lotem, we were on 35,000, and now we are on 43,000. So we're growing all the time. And we also have nature clubs that we run inside of institutions and hostel where people stay and they can't leave. That is our most, I don't know if it is our very known branch, but it is the highest in demand. And we served last year 51,000 individuals in those lessons and programs that we're doing in the institutions. We also have our beautiful Amazfit Shalom, and I'm sure that many, if not all of you, have been there. It's one of the most beautiful places, located in one of the most beautiful places in Israel. It's a preservation. It's also a biosphere area. It's a 40-acre farm, which is also an educational site that is fully hands-on and accessible. If you haven't been to Lotem for a year or two, you will be surprised in how developed it is. All the time it's developing, and every time you come, there's something new. So if you've been here in Milton a year ago, then today you will come and you'll see the ecological pool, which is absolutely beautiful. And next time you come, you see the sensory path, and then you'll see the snooze land and a lot of exciting thing. And before that, we had the Path of Creation, of course, which was a really showstopper. So a lot of things to see, a lot of things to do and to enjoy in Lotem. We have every year 14,000 visitors to Amazfit Shalom. Besides that, we also have an InService training center where we not only work with people with special needs, we work with professionals and people that are typical and that have to come to work with people with special needs. And we teach them how to accommodate them and how to create job environments that will accommodate them. This is an in-service training center mostly started with professionals that are from the public sector, which are government employees, but it also moved on to the private sector. We have a lot of high-tech companies and a lot of private companies coming to do their accessibility training. Last year, we had 6,000 people go through their in-service training center. So the capacity is big. A lot of people are influenced and impacted by Lotem, and that is always great. The other part of what we do is making Israel accessible. We're making museums, heritage sites, and national park accessible. We have contracts with the government for 19 places that we are making accessible in Israel, and we also are now adding another thing. Israel has one city that is an accessible city. The Social Security in Israel put about 6 million shekels into this project, and Lotem is the one is probably going to operate that. So that's very exciting. We are just closing it these days, and it's going to be very exciting. It's the first time, it's the first thing in Israel. It's really very much invested, and it's going to be great. So this is what Lotem is doing, and I'll just briefly talk about what's going on in Israel. So for the first time, I think, not only that we are in a situation, we are in a difficult situation, and you call us to strengthen us and tell us that you support us and how much you love us. This time you are in the same situation, and we have been making also calls to our friends and emailing and making sure that you are taking care of yourself and staying safe and staying home. we are for the first time in the same situation. Everything, the whole world is going through the same thing. It's not pleasant. It looked, for a few weeks, it looked very bad. I think now we're starting to see the light in Israel. I hope for you too. I can say that in Israel, we started a little bit earlier to be, to start, aware and do things about it. And we closed the borders earlier. I think we had about 2 weeks advantage ahead. And it paid off. It was very difficult, but Israelis were very obedient in that sense. We know how to come together and we know what to do. And it's not the first time, it's the first time there's a virus, but it's not the first time we have to be home and stay safe and take precautions and do what needs to be done and listen to what the prime minister or the professionals say, and we know how to do that. And we also know how to organize our society and help those who are in need and do what we need to do to preserve a decent way of doing things. And it seems that it looks better, but I can tell you for 8 or 9 years, weeks that we've been home, what we always say when we speak about Loca, we start explaining that Israeli culture, we like to being outdoors, we like outside. And these weeks really show that Israelis had a very, very hard time staying home. This is really out of our nature. It doesn't go with what we like to do. The kids regular to be outside. My children, I have 4 daughters, and let's say Friday night, they leave to meet their friends at 9:30 at night. They'll come back alone at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's nothing special. It's the way it is in Israel. Children are very free. Everybody comes and goes. They're always, on the move. And now we couldn't do it. So it was very, very difficult. So difficult that on Pesach and on the Memorial Day and on Yom Ha'atzmaut, there was not only quarantine, there was curfew. So we could not leave our homes. Like by law, the government said no one is leaving and everybody who's going outside is going to be fined. And there was police and there was military in the streets, and you couldn't go not to the grocery and not anywhere because they knew these are the times where Israelis are going to go out. This is what they do. So this is what happened. And right now it seems like we're starting to see the light, and maybe it will be better in a few weeks. So what about Lotem? When it just started, we knew that they started talking about what's going to happen, and we know that the schools are going to be closed. It was obvious that the first schools that are going to be closed are the special needs schools. Those are the children that are most vulnerable. They would be sent home immediately, and this is exactly what happened. The first day, the children with special needs schools left, and then the other schools were shut down. And we were ready for that. We knew what was happening, and we had to adjust to the situation. Most of our staff, and I'm talking about over 80% of our staff, went on a leave from work. The first one that took himself on a leave is Amos Ziv, our CEO. He is, of course, working full-time, but he's just not getting paid. He did that to show solidarity. He did that to show personal example for his employees. And I'm very appreciative of his leadership and the way he did it. And it's really, really amazing. We organized to do what we know what to do and how we can contribute to the situation. The minute the school stopped, the name of the game began to be long-distance learning. Long-distance learning is how things are done in Israel, and they're going to be done for a long time from now on because the children with special needs cannot go back to full school. So they're doing that, they're continuing. But the Israeli system, I don't know how it is in America, but the Israeli system was totally not prepared for that. We didn't have any facilities and any learning material, and especially in the special needs sector. And the special needs sector, you have to understand, there is a methodology, there is a way of doing it. And this is exactly the expertise of Lotem. We are the best, and I would say the most experienced organization in Israel with accessibility of knowledge, which means simplified linguistics. There are different methodologicals that we do and we use throughout our accessibility work and throughout all of our instructions. So we started producing lessons and programs for long distance learning. We, first of all the sector of special needs kind of got together. We've been associating with the umbrella organization of all families with special needs in Israel called Akim. It's a very strong organization. We work with them, and we, through them, supply to all the schools and the institutions those programs and materials. Of course, we're doing it with no charge. We used our reserves to do these productions and to produce those lessons. Lotem has always been very good with the way we use our money. We're very modest, and we had the ability to do that, and we are very happy for that. So we contributed that way. What happened is we found out work is starting through the work that there are children with special needs that don't have the means to connect. They don't have computers, they don't have laptops in their homes, they have a financial situation at home that doesn't allow them to be part of this long distance learning. And it's very difficult to be with young children or children at home, and it's much more difficult to be with a child with special needs. Many of the children with special needs don't understand what happened. Why is their routine changed? What changed in their lives? Why can't they go to school? Why can't they leave their house? What's going on? They don't get it. And being home alone and being so disconnected and having it happen this way really has a price on them. And the teachers and all the sector of special needs education is really concerned. And even though they're not working, they connect with the children and they stay in touch with the parents. And it's really difficult. They see a lot of regression, a lot of achievements that were made with the children. Physical achievement, cognitive achievement, abilities, different abilities are really going back and being lost. And also a lot of depression. Children with special needs and people with difficulties express depression in different ways, but it is definitely sadness and depression, and it's very hard. And it's also just hard to be alone with a child with special needs that doesn't have anything to do. And I'll tell you another thing. Being in contact with the teachers and caregivers for children with special needs has a different meaning. So if my children, and I have here 3 children in school age, won't talk to their teacher for a week, it's okay. They kind of like this. It's fine with them. But for a child with special needs, not to be in contact with their teachers or caregivers, it's different. They are very, very close to them physically and emotionally. They need them, and they need this connection, and they couldn't have it. So we coordinated a national program of obtaining those computers and laptops at the demands of the teachers of the schools. And this is a program that we started about 4 or 5 weeks ago. And we have all the information is coming to us through Akim and through the schools and the institutions. Every school has their list of children that have a difficulty in their homes, that don't have computers. What do they need? What exactly are the demands of the software? There are children with disabilities that will need a computer, a laptop. There are children that will need a tablet, because this is just something that I never thought of, but I learned that these few weeks. Children that have, for instance, visual disabilities will use a tablet. Children that have cognitive disabilities on a lower level will use a tablet. Children that are autistic on a higher level will use a laptop. I mean, there are different needs for every child. The schools know, and they have their own software and the programs that they use. And what we do is we get the computers or tablets for them. We embed all the software that they need for every child, and we deliver it to their homes. The goal in the beginning, we did an estimation of 200 kids, and we got about 70 something so far. But if you ask me, and I'll be honest, the goal is still 200, another 200, because the requests are continuing. The schools are calling, the institutions are calling. We have calls and demands and really horrible and really hard stories to listen to, but we're doing our best. And we get a lot of support from Jewish National Funds in that sense, a lot of donors, a lot of partners, a lot of friends that just call and ask, what can we do? How can we help? It's an $1,800 gift. It's $1,800 will give a computer, a laptop with all the requirements, all the software with delivery. And if it's a tablet, it would be probably 3 tablets. So that's a calculation of that. I would like to, if I can, if JNF can, help me screen a movie. I want to show you a short movie of one of the children getting a computer, just to get the sense of what it means for them and just what it is for them.
I'm going to share my screen to show the video, Gailey. Thank you.
מה שלומך?
בסדר.
איך את מרגישה בימים האלה?
טוב. פריאל היא בת 21 היום, ילדה עיוורת עם שיתוק מוחי והרבה בעיות ברקע.
מי אוהב אותך?
אבא.
כמה אוהב אותך?
המון. היא מאוד אוהבת לשמוע מוסיקה, כי היא לא רואה, הכל דרך השמיעה, סיפורים, ואני חושבת שהטאבלט יהיה וואו. בשבילה. פריאל!
מה תגיד?
מה תגידי? תודה. תודה, רק תודה. איזה חיוך! איזה חיוך! איזה יופי. עכשיו יהיה לך מה לעשות.
וואו, וואו, וואו.
היא כבר רוצה לפתוח. וואו, 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 פריאלה!
הנה, הנה, הנה.
נו, תגידי משהו. זה יפה, את יודעת?
עשינו אותה וזהו.
זה בצבע לבן, והמסך בשחור, ועוד מעט יהיה כל מיני סיפורים ומוסיקה בפנים.
הולכים הביתה עכשיו, נכון? היו שרים,
האמת?
רמי, זה תאמיני לי, תלך לנו פשוטים.
יופי של משהו.
מקריא את השיר הזה?
Hey. So, I hope you got the sense of Priel. She is a wonderful child. She has very good parents. The father has cancer. There's this difficult situation, financial situation, and she is so happy and so thankful, and her parents are too, for this beautiful gift. So it's just making a huge difference and an impact on the lives of people that really are in need. It's a true need, and it's just salvation for them. I'll just finish with maybe an anecdote, just a story, a small story that I just love the story. About a week and a half ago, we had this school in Eilat, which, you know, Eilat is the most southern city in Israel. It's a touristic city. It's very beautiful. If you've never been there, you should go. It's great and it's fun. But these days, you know, all the touristic places and all the hotels are closed. Most of the people who live in Eilat live by tourism. So today they have over 80% of unemployment in this city, which to begin with is not a socioeconomic, very high level city. A lot of difficulties there. And they have one school for special needs. And this school has children from the age of 6 to 21 with all the range of special needs. It's not a special needs school for children who can't hear or can't see, because it's a regional school. They have really all kinds of children. And it's really nice, very, very dedicated staff. And they have 9 children who do not have computers, do not have the ability, really difficult stories, and they needed to have the computers. So we got the computers and the tablets for them, but we had a problem. We couldn't transfer them from the north, where we are, to the south because of the curfew. And we tried with different carriers, companies, and no one could do it. And then we had a lot of volunteers that were willing to help us, but we couldn't narrow, the link between, the whole Arava, the whole desert. It was impossible. So we didn't know what to do. I turned to the police. I spoke to the chief of the highway police. I told him what the story is. We needed to get the computers to the children. And he said, I'm on it. And they had policemen come and take all the computers from Lotem, and then from one police car to another through all the districts of Israel until they got to Eilat. And then they got to Eilat and they went to the children's houses and they brought the children the computers. I want to tell you, this is one of the most emotional and exciting stories that happened, to us. And the children were ecstatic to see a policeman come and give them this gift. And the parents were really so happy. And it was really amazing for them. The teachers, the staff, the principal, they were just going out of it really so happy. And I think from this difficult times, these are the moments that I won't want to forget. So I want to thank you for joining this call and listening to me and bringing you the story of the kids. And if there are any questions or people that want to say something, I'd love to hear you.
Gailey, so we had a couple of questions in the chat. So I will read them off to you. So how has JNF continued to keep helping you guys out in terms of everything overall before additional funding and additional contributions? And has the government been helping you guys out?
Okay, the government is a problem, but it's not because of the COVID-19. It's because of what's going on in Israel. And I didn't go into this, the political situation, but we all know in Israel there have been 3 elections so far. It seems like it's done, but there's still a chance for another election. So that means that for the last almost year and a half, there was a political paralysis. So there was no funding. Our funding comes from the Ministry of Education, so that of course continued, but we also have a lot of social security that comes to us and a lot of government funding from other foundations and resources, and that stopped. So for a whole year and a half, we had to really be very resourceful with that. It's not only us, many organizations too. There are organizations in Israel that really rely on it more than us and got into terrible situations. Some of them had to shut down even before COVID-19. So we were lucky in that sense because we have JNF, and JNF was with us through all the time. So the support that we got from JNF really started before the corona. It started because of what we were going through in Israel. And they were very good in advancing funds that were supposed to, like pledges that people gave. And even if they didn't pay them, they advanced. So they helped us a lot through this time. And also now, and during this few months, they've been helping us very much. But also I have to admit, we have been able to get help from people that just called us and said, what can we do to help? And it was very surprising, and I would really appreciate it very much. People that understand that we are serving a very true, realistic need that exists. And, even if you're in a terrible situation, There's always someone who really is in more need, worse situation. That's the reality of things. And being there for others that need help is a great thing. And people in JNF are great.
Thanks so much, Kaylee. That is awesome. The next question, are the lessons that you referenced, are they available in English that can be used as a project for JNF to, help distribute in the US?
So especially for Independence Day, it was a surprise for me. Two of our instructions that speak English made a video of like what we do in Hebrew. They did it in English. It's on my Facebook. We put it on for Independence Day, so the people from America can get also a notion of what we're doing and the way we explain things. So I'll tell you the truth. When I first saw the programs, it was like, it was very slow, and it was very slow. I thought that children will not have, the patience for that. But then I saw the children watch it and they're just fascinated. Something in the rhythm is good for them. Something in the language that we use and the way we do it, the way the instructors, the professionals do it is just so right and so unbelievable. I learned so much about the professional side of how things are being done in terms of the education and program in Lotem. So it's amazing. I don't hear you. Brandon, I can't hear you.
Does anybody have any other questions? And if not, we'll just let Gailey wrap it up and then test. So, all right. Doesn't seem like anybody has any other questions. So Gailey, I'll hand it back over to you.
Thank you very much for joining. I wish you safe and great days to come. And I hope you are as optimistic as I am, as we are in Israel, to see it come through, and just everything is going to be fine. And if not, I think that in any case, we learned that there is mutual solidarity, and there are so many good things that people showing their nice faces, and that's always something good to take with us from these times.
Thank you, Gailey. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so for people who don't know me, my name is Cindy Silvert, and I am the proud president of the Southern New Jersey region of Jewish National Fund. And I'm a big fan of Gailey's. I fell for her when I met her here. It's not hard, you can see why. This story of Lotem, what they do, if you haven't been, it's not token accessibility. It's not a ramp here or a sign there or Braille, on the elevator. The park is a phantasmagorical experience created for people with special needs. I think we don't even get, we can't appreciate how rich it is. But being there, being on the ground, is to see how sensitive and intelligently they are dealing with all kinds of people. And as Gailey said a couple, I think 3 oxymorons. She said Israeli government, and she said obedient Israeli. And she also said it's not in their nature. This isn't an oxymoron. It's not in Israelis' nature not to be in nature, essentially. She said it's not their nature to be inside. And it really isn't. And just like special in uniform allows people with special needs to be mainstreamed, to not be isolated, to be giving to Israeli society. So too, and I'm just finding out about the online learning, which is incredible. And I'm sure Israel, like biotech, like everything else, they're way ahead in that. So I'm very, very excited to see that, actually. The last thing I wanted to say is that when Gailey said they don't get it, none of us get it, right? It's so difficult for all of us. So the fact that they are reaching out as a support, just to know that someone's there, just to know an organization still cares about them, just like JNF still cares about Lotem. So one of the highlights of my trip to Israel was the visit to that, the Path of Creation. It was just so beautiful and so thrilling. And I want to just share a little story. I know a young adult, a woman, who had the most amazing time in shul on Yom Kippur about 3 years ago. I walked in, she came into shul with her mother. She had the best time. She's special needs, and she had a tablet. So while the rest of us are thinking, I'm hungry, should I switch shoes? How far should I walk home? Should I sleep here? Should I this? Should I that? She was not uncomfortable. She was not unwelcome. She knew what to do with herself and had a gift that could enrich her, could keep her occupied, could challenge her, something that is hers, something that's cool. Everybody else has one, right? We're all staring at our something right now, our iPad or phone or whatever. So it's all about inclusion lovingly. And I'm so proud of Lotem, of all the things that you do. I didn't know about the long distance learning. I didn't know about the training programs. So it's such a rich environment. We are all feeling disconnected, and I'm not a social media person, but seeing all these faces online over and over is really warming my heart, and really, it's a joy to be connected to people. Judy's smiling, like people who have share your passion, share your values. And so bottom line, I would like to contribute an additional $1,800 to buy 3 tablets for Lotem and to kick off Women's Month with that. So the gifts in May, it is Women's Month, go women go. Women's Month has a $1 million match for any gift from any woman. You can direct it to Lotem, you can direct it to any project of your choice, but I join you, I encourage you. I would love it if you would join me in a gift of any size. I know now is a difficult time. My husband doesn't know about this yet, but I'm so moved by Lotem, and it's sincere, it's true. Whatever Gailey is representing, they're doing above and beyond that. So your money is going where it is needed most, and I wish you all a healthy, happy, get over COVID-19, and please join me. Thank you for joining, everybody. And thank you, Gailey, for educating and for sharing that with us. And in case you didn't see, you can go to jnf.org, and they'll make it easy for you to donate if you put in that URL, or just click jnf.org and click the Donate Now button. Your money goes where you want it to go. Your money is partnered with people on the ground who are accountable. It is the most accountable, transparent organization that gives our money directly to Israel. What is it, Bob? 85% on the dollar. By law, I think minimum 82 or something has to go. It's an incredible organization. The money's going where you want it to go. So do please join me. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Brandon,
you,
I think
Cindy.
we're over and out.
Yes, thank you everybody so much for joining. You will receive a follow-up email, and thank you so much, Cindy, for your generosity. It is greatly
Thank
appreciated.
you.
And thank you, Gailey, for joining us from Israel. So thank you,
Thank you
everybody.
very much.
Bye, everybody. Thank you, Gailey.
Thanks.
Shalom, shalom. Thank you, shalom.
Shalom. Wonderful to see everybody.
Thank you.